is up, RotoGrinders? Welcome to Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It is hump day. It is a day for hump day, and it is a day for basketball. 11 games in the association and the DraftKings slate. 14 on FanDuel. Everybody's playing today with the exception of two teams, Milwaukee and somebody else. I forget who their team is. But yeah, tons of basketball the day before Thanksgiving. Hopefully you and yours, your family, everything traveling, everybody have a safe and fun and happy Thanksgiving. It'll be good times for sure. Should note, there is a Thanksgiving slate tomorrow, of course, for football. There will be a show in the morning as well. I think around 11:30 or 12 o'clock. That's why you hit the like button. That's why you subscribe. That's why you turn on those notifications so you know when we're going live. And I believe there's also going to be a showdown show on Friday for the Black Friday game. I think it's on Amazon, if I'm not mistaken. Kansas City taking on the Raiders. So check your listings for that one. But DFS, we care about today and today only. Today, we're talking basketball. 14 games for basketball, again on FanDuel, 11 on DK. We have the two former millionaire winners, Bobby Gomes. We have Chop as well. Chop, not a lot of time for shenanigans and nonsense. I think that things that sort, but the people are demanding. The people want to know. We should also say, yes, in celebration of Thanksgiving, three potential winners tonight for the wheel. We'll spin the wheel around 6 o'clock or so on the East Coast, 5 o'clock Central. Do the math for you. If we get 100 likes, spin the wheel 3 times. How do you get your name on that board? How do you get your name on the wheel? You go on the Discord, rotogrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. Producer Steve has a post. Just hit the avatar. You're good to go. We'll give away 3 individual weeks of premium. Chop, the people want to know, no spoilers, obviously. We live in a society. But how was Gladiator 2?
It was a good movie, okay? It was a good movie. I was telling producer Steve before the show, it's a good movie. It's a good standalone movie. The first one, Gladiator, the original, that's a classic. Like, that's one where you just watch it whenever you're flipping through channels and it's on. You just get drawn in and can't stop watching it. This one was a good movie. It's not in the same tier as that one, but it was solid, and there was enough linking of the two movies, despite there being like a 20-year gap right there. It was enough linking of the movies that you felt like it was a sequel. So it was good. It was solid.
Do you want to say what's up to the chat? Again, hit that like button, do subscribe, and do turn on those notifications. Bobby, how are things? Lots to dig into as far as the slate. 11 games. We're going to focus on the 11 DraftKings games. We'll talk about it from a FanDuel perspective as well when pertinent. But, when crunch time comes in, about an hour and change, they're going to elaborate. They'll go around the horn, position by position, both FanDuel and DraftKings, their favorite plays. Steph Curry not playing tonight, if you guys missed it. Utah missing a bunch of guys as well. It's just a mess as far as the situation room. DeRozan's out again. Morant, he's back. He's gone again. Trae Young is questionable. That might be a troll. They might just be trolling and having fun because they got fined for him not playing that game against Boston when they actually ended up winning. The only time that apparently an independent doctor said like Young could have played. I don't know how they know that, but okay. And they got fined $100K. But Beal is questionable. Back end of a back-to-back. Several teams are on the back end of a back-to-back because again, a lot of everybody's playing with the exception of 2 teams in the association. Tobias Harris still questionable, unless these things have changed in the last 30 minutes or so. I have the injury report up. That'll be coming in about 22 minutes if anything changes there. But Bobby, we good to go? How we feeling?
Yeah, good to go. Feeling good, Dean. Feeling good. Chop said Gladiator, you can watch it anytime. What he failed to mention was you've only seen it once. It took you 18 years to watch the movie one time. He's right.
I did.
I almost watched it the other day, but you've only seen Gladiator 1, I guess. Now that's what it must be called, because there's a second one time, and I just can never get over that.
I like that you can't get over it. It took me a long time to get to it. I've explained it before in the past. The reason why, because I saw the last 20 minutes in the theater, and nothing else, because my movie had finished and my friends were watching that, and I split off. I was a rebel and I watched. I chose poorly. I did not choose the correct movie, but apparently producer Steve has never seen it. That's the one we should be getting at. Why are we not digging in the producer Steve? We shouldn't, because producer Steve was a hero yesterday. Shout out to him for stepping in and multitasking when Roth's computer, I guess it blew up on him. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Hopefully Roth will be back and good to go. But Steve, we'll give him a reprieve. But Steve, seriously, watch Gladiator. It's a spectacular movie. The one thing Chop said that I really picked up on that you didn't apparently, he says he's flipping through channels. And like, I can't tell you the last time I flipped through channels. Who does that? Flip through channels? I don't flip through channels. I have like the Netflix and the Amazon. Who flips through channels? I don't understand. Is that a thing people still do?
Chop still watches movies with commercials.
I mean, I've tried the YouTube TV. I prefer cable.
I'm actually in agreement with this, to be honest. Outside of like avoiding the commercials.
And what do you?
I like cable. I don't need.
What is net? You can't watch Netflix.
You don't need an app
all day, every day.
Yeah,
there's lots of good shows on Netflix, but I don't like. Sometimes I want to watch the local news
or Amazon.
No, I'm not doing. I don't know. It's just the cable is just right there. It's easy. It's accessible. It's got the stuff set up for me. I know.
It's got a bunch of commercials.
What's that?
Yeah, but if you want to watch a movie when you're watching cable, you can.
I know, man. If I want to watch a show, then I can flip to Netflix or I can flip to whatever.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's.
We set up a poll. Do you still?
I think it's bizarre that you. I think it's bizarre that you can leave your TV on Netflix 24/7 and deal like. Netflix is not that kind of viewing for me. Like,
I bounce around, but genuinely, I cannot tell you the last time I flipped through channels. I just
bounce around.
Well, I flip for sports. Like if there's multiple sports stuff on, I'll flip for that. That's it. But like a TV show, I don't flip around and say, "Oh wow, Varsity Blues is on. I guess I'm gonna watch Varsity Blues." No. Like if I want to watch Varsity Blues, I'll just find it on Netflix.
But you don't
know you want to watch it. Yeah, you don't know you want to watch it till you're flipping. There's like a million movies out there. Like you just said Varsity Blues. I would never like when am I gonna think, oh, let me go watch Varsity Blues? No, I gotta be flipping around. Oh shit, there's Varsity Blues. Oh, I remember this scene. Oh, let me go to Netflix now.
I know it's
from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Like
you're not gonna see it on USA or TNT or whatever scene you're thinking of, but TJ is with me, by the way.
The little whipped cream scene, the whipped cream.
Yeah. I'm guessing that's the scene. Maybe you're thinking of Billy Bob getting concussed like this.
You remind me of Billy Bob, Dean.
Whoa.
Thank you. I don't know about this in the show.
Whoa.
If we were throwing you out there, you'd be Billy Bob.
Personality-wise, you're talking, I assume?
Getting the handoff or playing, you know what I mean? What's the movie? What's not another teen movie where they throw him a pass and he gets like decapitated both ways?
It might be a scary movie or possibly not another teen movie. There's another scary movie coming. The people demand it. Also another Naked Gun coming. Shout out to Naked Gun. But all right, we got to dive in. No more shenanigans. Can we get a poll though? I want a poll. Do you channel surf? Like yes, frequently, like very little, rarely. Like I can't imagine people still channel surfing, but I guess they do. I guess that's kind of still a thing. Chop, big picture wise, do we want to say anything as far as tonight's slate? Yeah, again, Philadelphia is still without Embiid and George, no Luka, Cunningham officially doubtful. Brandon Ingram seems to be highly questionable. I think Trae Young plays, but I don't know. Markkanen sitting out for Utah. He banged knees with. I was watching that game with Wemby last night. Troy Murphy's also questionable. John Collins also questionable for Utah. Portland's down every one of their big men at this point. Clay's got a foot, so he's questionable. A lot going on, and we'll talk about it, and more information will be coming on through. But big picture, Chop, I don't think there's any like amazing value plays, which is sort of weird. I thought that was kind of the strange thing.
We'll see. There's a lot of question marks that you just never know, and we'll go game by game. I mean, the picture is too big to like talk about now. It's literally got to be game by game, broken down, player by player, with the question marks and the doubtfuls and the outs right now. There's just so many of them. I don't think there is a big picture.
I like this comment from Uncle Frosty. He says, I stand up to change the channel. Uncle Frosty living in 1985 or so. I did that before, back in the day. Not walking through the snow. That's one of my back in the day stories for sure. If there's a game we don't really care about, it's not that interesting. There's a bunch of games. So we don't need to like fully dig in every single one. So just if you want to just say pass, this is nothing for me, by all means, let's do that. Bunch of games starting at 7:00. I believe there's 6 games starting at 7:00. Let's go ahead and knock out the first one. It is my Miami Heat, the embarrassing Miami Heat, the losing to the Giannis-less Bucks. in a cup game. They're taking on the Hornets. The Hornets are 4-point dogs here at home. LaMelo has a probable tag, just of note. I'm not sure if that means anything or not, but it's there. He's got a probable tag for his wrist. Bridges, of course, is still out. Trey Mann is still out. Their bigs are still out. That's Williams, Richards, and Williams. Anybody named Williams for Charlotte not playing basketball tonight. Haywood Highsmith is questionable for Miami. Kevin Love is old. He's got a cranky back, so he's not playing basketball. Rozier is going to go as far as his foot. Chop, Heat, Hornets. What do we got?
Yeah. So the Miami side's not particularly interesting to me with Butler, Hero, Adebayo, Rozier, all Duncan Robinson, if that even means anything. All those guys in there. The Heat don't do much for me, but you mentioned all those guys that are out. Grant Williams. I don't like the guy necessarily, his personality, but that's unfortunate. He's out for the year. The Trey Mann, Miles Bridges being out also. That's opening up some things on the Charlotte side. So, I think you could maybe go back to Brandon Miller here, who was absolutely crushing recently. And if you want to call a 40-point DK game a little bit of an off game for him in a really tough matchup against Orlando, then he had an off game, but it was still 40. And Miami's probably not as tough as Orlando. So, yeah, Miller, Diabate, Ball is okay. He's a decent spin up. Yeah, I think the Charlotte side is where the value is, and the Miami side doesn't do anything for me. You're on mute.
My bad. We're showing Miller and Ball to be pretty heavily owned, especially for an 11 gamer. On DK, 30% Miller, 27% Ball. Of course, that would change things dramatically if Ball is out. But again, I'm assuming he plays. Unless otherwise noted, it's 7:00 game. We'll know.
Also, Dean, I also want to play the $3,500 value from Charlotte.
No, you don't.
I don't know his name. I can't do his name. I'm not going to try the day before.
Chop, he's like a 12% usage guy at like 0.65 fantasy points per minute.
You said there's no value on the slate, and I'm just saying at 35, if you want to, he is a guy that's going to jump in some optimals, and so you got to keep him in your player pool and think about it. Okay. But what's his name? Give me the name, Dean. I can't do it.
Yeah, I did this one. I think it's Saloon, but now I'm forgetting. I did look at it phonetically the other day, and now I'm just losing it in the top of my head. But I remember I went on a YouTube search. I think I saw him either being interviewed or the announcer was talking about him, and now I'm just losing it. But I'm telling you, well, look, you don't want to play him. He's bad. If he becomes chalk, I think he's bad chalk. He's a really bad fantasy point minute.
Dean, is he going to become chalk? Shit, he is chalk. He's the biggest chalk on the slate.
Yeah, that's what he is the chalkiest play on the slate.
He's 25%. He's 25% right now on DK. Give it a refresh. You gotta refresh the stuff. Earlier in the day, he was like 50% earlier in the day. So I know what you're talking about. And I wrote about it in the survey. I said, there's no way I'm playing this guy in single entry contest at 50%.
I'm gonna refresh and look it up.
Yeah, give it a refresh. The ownership stuff has changed. He's still going to be played, but I think it's bad. I think it's bad. That's just my opinion. But I'm not playing him. Bobby, what do you got? Miami and Charlotte.
I like Ball. He's an 8% usage rate. 8% usage rate with Bridges off the court, so I don't mind him. Miller's a shooter. Don't mind him. Diabate's fine for me. The one I do have question marks on is Saloon or Salon, however you guys say his name. If he's going to be that chalky, I'm with Dean. Doesn't shoot enough. I'd rather play Josh Green, Cody Martin. There's guys there that you can find to play. On the Miami side, like zero interest at all. Hero, Butler, Bam, Duncan, no interest. But I think LaMelo's a very strong play. Like they've been giving it up to guards, Miami. So I don't mind LaMelo at 10-3. Hopefully for Thanksgiving Eve, he goes out tonight and didn't go out last night, so he'll be ready.
Basically no ownership on Hero, Bam, or Butler for what it's worth. If you're running a certain number of lineups, I think you should be considered, but none of them really are great. Doesn't sound like you're really into me there. I saw somebody in chat mentioning Pelle Larson. I mean, look, he has moments and that he closes sometimes and they seem to like him. He's probably taking minutes away from Jaime Jaquez, who's probably fallen back a little bit, to be honest. I just don't think it's worth trying to figure out who Miami's one of the toughest rotations, and maybe he jumps up and plays 27 minutes or so. I suppose that's possible, but I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to break the slate. That's just sort of where I'm at. But interesting, of note, I suppose, and he's their second rounder. Their first rounder, Ware, is not done a heck of a lot. Who they chose right in front of Connect and the dude for Philly. So not looking great so far. McLean for Miami as far as the returns. It's still early. We'll see. They told us he's like lively, but we haven't exactly seen that just yet. Bobby, anything else you want to say as far as Miami, Charlotte, or shall we scoot on?
We can scoot on, Dean. We can scoot on.
Let's see. Caleb Martin was just ruled out. Johnny Furphy on track to play. Okay. Jordan Poole in, by the way, if you missed that. Jay Crowder was signed by the Kings. Not sure if he's available tonight, but that is more of note. Well, yeah, not of note. I don't think it's of note at all, but maybe he plays. We'll see. Shop Your Rockets are taking on the 76ers. 219 is the total, 5-point favorite. Some people in chat were saying like FVV, Freddie VanVleet, like the refs are going to unite and just call fouls on him and just kick him out of the game in a protest of his, going at one of their own. But Freddie was amazing last night. He was awesome. They went OT and travel, and Houston's got a pretty deep team. If you want to poke holes, that's what, one hole I would poke, I suppose, as far as Houston. We saw Amen close 7, 8, 9 stocks. Just a ridiculously good defender. I hope he stays. I hope he stays coming off the bench, Chop, because somebody's got a future on 6th man of the year for Amen Thompson. I think he got 30-1, Chopper. We'll see how that plays out. Talking about the Rockets and the Sixers.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We just said Caleb Martin is out tonight. I actually thought that was one of the big question marks a little while ago because we're already down some Philly guys. So it makes it even shorter. Now we're going to get into, I think, some good territory here tonight against the Rockets, like you said, on the road with travel, coming off of a big win. So they're probably a little bit let down spot here. So, yeah, I think maybe they could take advantage of it. Jared McCain's been awesome this year with his minutes, and he's going to be right back up there tonight with George and Embiid out and now Caleb Martin out. Maxi's fine. This is 8,100 for Maxi it's a really good price, relative to what he probably is if he plays every game this year and he was healthy. He'd probably be closer to 9K. So that's a good price. If you want to take a shot on Bobby's boy, Yabusele, you got that going for you.
It's Bobby's guy?
Wasn't Bobby touting him from the Olympics?
Dunked on LeBron.
Yeah, there you go. Bobby loved him at the Olympics, so you can get on board with that. I think Philly's where there's some value tonight, man. I think you can play them.
By the way, their starting lineup was just announced: Maxi, McCain, Oubre, Yabusele, and Drummond.
Ooh, I like that. Okay,
so they're playing Drummond and Yabusele side by side.
See how that works out. I think either or one of those guys belongs in a lineup. Take a shot on one, but probably set a rule not to do both of them. For the Rockets, I think the projections and the optimals are going to lean more towards Rockets guys. But I don't know if I like that from my own personal perspective. I don't think I'm on VanVleet tonight. It's tough to say I don't want to play Şengün because like somebody just commented in chat, when I play him, he probably doesn't do well. But when I don't play him, the guy absolutely busts the slate wide open. So I don't think I want to play him tonight, though. Don't want to play VanVleet. I'm in. I can get behind. Again, 4,700 Jabari. We're keeping him under 5K. He has upside. He was like 8 or 9 from the floor last night. He's a really good role player. So, yeah, I think Jabari is going to be in the mix in some lineups. And I think it's a decent game, Dean. But I think unlike the projections are telling me that maybe McCain's going to be the highest owned Sixer, and it's by a wide margin, and nobody else is going to be very owned. I actually like, with Caleb Martin now being out, I actually like taking some shots on not just McCain, but on some of these other guys. So I think they're going to be really thin tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how long they play Drummond and Yabusele together. That's how they're going to open. On the Şengün thing, though, like, so say there's an 8K player. Do you want a player, forget even Şengün, just player X. Do you want a player to give you consistently 40-ish fantasy points? Or do you want them to give you either 30 or 55? Because I want either 30 or 55. If you want to just sort of go that route. You know what I mean? Like,
depends on what game I'm playing, I guess.
I'm going
Cash
for
or
first.
GPP. Cash or GPP.
We're talking tournaments.
Okay, we're talking tournaments. Yeah, I mean, he's great. Well, it's not the inconsistency. I don't care. And he's really not that inconsistent. But it's the, like, that game, that was an overtime game last night too, by the way. And it meant, like, okay, we clinched our spot to the next round. So there's got to be a letdown here. Plus all those minutes. Şengün
42 for Şengün.
Okay, 42 minutes last night. Yeah, that's a lot, man. Coming into, you got to get on that plane and travel. That's probably what keeps me off of him a little bit more. But when I say I'm not going to play him, that just means I'll be under the field. But I'll still end up having him in lineups because he does have that upside.
You see Fred's minutes? 45. 45 for FPV.
He had a good game too last night.
He was awesome. Yeah, he was awesome.
Minutes. Yeah, man. That's why I really don't like Fred tonight. Like, I really think. In fact, I'm just, no inside info here, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of the vets gets a late sit down, like he's going to be rested tonight.
I wouldn't either, or just kind of the minutes being tempered a little bit. Like maybe he plays like 33 or 32. We'll see, depending on. Bobby, what do you got? Anything you want to add as far as Philly and Houston?
I like Şengün and Van Fleet, but I just wouldn't play them together because of what you guys kind of just hit on. Maybe they rest one of them, but if you're playing large field, like, I don't think they're going to be very owned. So I think it's easy to get over the field on both of them. Jared McCain showing up very strong in the Sims at RG, so I like that. I wonder how Yabu, I like the Yabusele call. I don't hate that at all. So maybe he's someone I consider, but I want to wait for projections to update.
Yeah, I'm curious how it's going to play out as well. Like, because I don't know how many minutes Drummond can play, but if he plays, like, he's been terrible this year, but a true big on the other side, I mean, would they match his minutes with Şengün? I don't know if he needs that many, but in theory, he could be interesting. TJ in chat says, for what it's worth, FEV used to do this all the time. Yeah, with Nurse. Remember Nurse was out of his mind with Toronto. He would play everybody like 40 minutes or so. Looks like we got a projection update. Let's see if anything of note here changed as far as Philadelphia. Since we're on it, we can discuss it. Giving a refresh here. Let's see. All right, Philadelphia minutes. We're given 36 to McCain, 33 Maxey, 30 Oubre, Yabusele 30. It's like 5.5 on DK. It's kind of a fair market value price. Drummond, so 28 minutes, 30 fantasy points, and at 5K on DK. He's gonna project well. Drummond's gonna project well. I think that's a little volatile as far as I'm not 28 seems like a reasonable number. You got to put a number on it, but I can see him playing 32. I can see him playing 22. But anything interesting there, Chop? Now that we have the Eric Gordon playing 23, who cares? KJ Martin 18, Rjax. Do you know Reggie Jackson was on Philadelphia? Raise your hand. Drummond's interesting at 5K.
You want to know why the Nuggets are struggling this year? Because they don't have Reggie Jackson.
Or KCP or a healthy Aaron Gordon.
No, I prefer to think Reggie Jackson made that joke better. just plain Reggie Jackson.
Well, the other part of that joke is that they signed Russ, right?
Believe it or not,
I like Russ.
Russ has been better. Russ has been better this year.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much he helps you win. He's a fun player to watch. One of my favorite players to watch over the last 15 years. But some nights it could be ugly. Officially, Trae Young is in. Yeah, they were trolling the league there after their $100,000 fine. He's good to go. Atlanta is in Cleveland. 240, boys. 240.5 to get all technical and precise. That is the total here. Cleveland, big-time favorites as well. They're 10-point favorites here versus the Hawks. As far as who's in and who's out, well, LeVert is out. Strus is out. I don't think we've seen him all season long. He's been dealing with that knee. Dean Wade not playing basketball. Young is in. Otherwise, anybody of note for Atlanta is good to go. So they're as healthy as they can be. We've seen Ty Jerome be really good for Cleveland of late in the absence of LeVert. We know the good matchup here against Atlanta. Nobody was at more 3-pointers in Atlanta. Prices are sort of where they should be, though. So I don't think Cleveland's going to be very popular. What do you got, Bobby? Cavs? Hawks?
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell's optimal rate in our Sims is very, very strong. It's a good matchup versus the Hawks, just giving up a ton of threes to guards. So I don't mind Mitchell, don't mind Garland. Evan Mobley, I think, is fine as well. On the other side, you can always play Trae Young. He stinks, but you can play him. He's going to be very low owned. Outside of that, not much there for me. I don't think I want to play Jalen Johnson. Don't want to play Bogdanovich. Don't want to play Okongwu. No, it's really more Mitchell, Garland, Evan Mobley, and then in larger field stuff, it's pretty easy to get overweight on Trae.
Yeah, Atlanta's not going to get played. Basically, not going to get played. Allen and Mobley not really going to get played a ton either. Just looking at the ownership stuff. Well, I guess we'll get a new batch with news coming in, obviously. But most popular player in this game right now on DK is Ty Jerome at 12%, Allen at 10%. Chop, is this a game we're looking at? I like some of the Cleveland pieces. Basically, no chance they play anybody in Atlanta. I do like Johnson, but the price is kind of where it should be. The matchup's not great. I can see them getting beat up here. I'm with Bobby. Trae Young he's a good fantasy player, but not as good as he once was. The drives are down. He actually probably is really dealing with something, which is the whole irony of him getting called out, because he probably was, managing it. He picked the wrong day to do so, I suppose, when the league was watching on the Cup day, and of course they ended up winning, which is hilarious. Down 17-point dogs. But yeah, anything to add here, Chop? But as far as the Atlanta and Cleveland.
No. The only thing I would say, Dean, is I'll have 5 lineups tonight. They'll be hand built and they'll be in single entry. Try to get up into a little bit higher dollar range. So with that being in mind, I will not have an Atlanta guy in those 5 lineups, and at the very most, I'll have one lineup that'll feature Donovan Mitchell and maybe one that has Evan Mobley. I won't play any of these guys together, and I probably will limit it to 2 lineups exposure here. That's it.
Jalen Smith is out. We just got the 5:30 injury report. Jalen Smith is out. Lonzo's in with his wrist, but they're going to be very, very careful with his minutes. Chicago, back-to-back, traveling, and Orlando. That's the triple whammy. The Bulls, to me, look terrible here. I know Vuka's got revenge in his heart for his 37th revenge game versus the Magic. 224.5 is the total. Again, they're 10-point dogs here. Lonzo back. Jalen Smith, the backup 5, just scratched. Anybody else? Oh, no, Patrick Williams still out. Nothing new there. Orlando, Banchero is out. Gary Harris is out. Oh, they're also getting Wendell Carter is back. And Jalen Suggs is back. Those guys are both off the injury reports. This feels like a good old-fashioned ass-kicking. I like Orlando minus 10, just as I know it's not a sports betting show, but I feel like Orlando beats them pretty good here. Chop, this game is pretty uneventful to me. And, with Carter coming back and Suggs back and Orlando playing deep rotations, I know it's an awesome matchup for Chicago, and that's why you're going to want to play some Franz. We'll talk about Franz in a second. I'm sure with Bobby, that's his guy. The center stuff, like Goga Batadze, he disappears so many times in the fourth. You never really know who they're going to close with. Sometimes it's Isaac. Sometimes it's Moritz Wagner. And again, now they have Carter back. It's just so many guys. I want to pick on Chicago. I guess the cleanest route is Wagner. Franz, that is. What do you got here, Chop?
Not much, Dean. I think if you really wanted to pick on Chicago, maybe you could play Jonathan Isaac. That's, and I don't even know if I'm going to go there at all, but he's cheap enough. For Chicago, Dean, I'm glad I went to the movies last night, because I would have been very tilted at the Chicago-Washington game watching that one, man. That was, in hindsight, looking at the box score later on, that was pretty ugly. So,
did you watch Bobby Portis, or you had time to switch in Bobby Portis, right? I assume you did.
No? Yeah. No, I did, but yeah, he was
Yeah.
bad too. But I mean, we thought that game, Chicago Washington, was like
Yeah.
the apple of the eye yesterday, and it was awful for both sides. So
Blowouts.
I won't start.
Yeah.
Yeah, no Chicago for me tonight.
We got Jeremy Grant out, and Ayton is in. Okay, I think he had like a finger, right? So he should probably. Chris Murray is out as well. Scoot is available. Okay, Portland. God, this team every single day something. They're just never clean. Bobby, do you want to talk about Franz?
I love Franz still under 10K. Pace up matchup versus the Bulls. I don't know how much I'd get to him here. I still think you can get him in your pool. What do we have for him for ownership currently?
22% on DK. We have Anthony Black at 21%, and I think that's wrong. I think that's going to change. It's not even like a great projection. I think, this stuff's going to change. But Franz will probably hold, I think.
I'll probably be like at the field on Franz. Isaac, I think I'm going to be over the field on Isaac. Worry about the minutes, but we're kind of starved for value. Pace up spot for Chicago. He could easily disappear. And then I prefer Mo Wagner to Goga Batadze at the center position. I think I'll probably be a little bit over the field on Mo Wagner, which is probably pretty easy to do.
Steve is saying, I think Lonzo can play 20 minutes. I'll take a shot at 3-9. Didn't they come out and say, I think they said 15 or 16 minutes or so max. I highly advise you do not play Lonzo Ball tonight. You do what you want. It's your lineup. It's your money. But he's not going to play 20 minutes almost definitely. And it's a terrible matchup versus Orlando. Also, Lonzo's not good anymore. But besides that, he's cheap. But don't do that. I strongly advise you do not play Lonzo Ball tonight. Okay. Anything else? I guess we'll see what happens with Jalen Smith being out. Does that matter? You know who could become interesting, actually? Buzelis. Because he would get some extra run, and he probably plays in a blowout, too. He might be interesting. Curious if the projections like him a little bit more. Why not develop the rookie a little bit? But that's the one I would keep my eye on for Chicago. If I'm going to play one person in Chicago, it's probably him. But I'm probably not playing anybody. But there's a chance he plays 25 minutes if this game blows out. Either way, there's a chance he plays 25 minutes. Okay, let's talk about who's up next. I'm going to skip Portland, Indiana for a second, but then talk about the other 7 o'clock game. That is the Clippers and the Wizards. Again, if you guys are in chat, make sure you jump over to the Discord channel. We're giving away potentially 3 individual weeks to RG Premium. If we get to 100 likes before 6 o'clock on the East Coast, we're going to spin that wheel. How do you get your name on that wheel to get a week free of RG Premium? Go to the Discord, RotoGrinders.com/Discord live stream chat channel, and just go ahead and hit the post that producer Steve has up there. He'll take your name. We'll throw it up on the wheel. Most of our Discord channels are free. Of course, that's a free one. If it wasn't, that'd be kind of silly. We're going to talk about THT. I guess THT might get a few more minutes as well. He's kind of terrible, but he's a decent fantasy player, I suppose. All right. Let's talk about the Clippers. The Clippers, speaking of Washington, and that disaster game last night. Clippers, Washington, 226 is the total. Clippers are 11-point favorites here in Washington. Washington, of course, playing the back half of back-to-back. Nothing new as far as their injury stuff. Oh, no, Jordan Poole's in. Poole is in. He didn't play last night. Poole is back. Mo Bamba's officially questionable. Nothing really else of note. Of course, Kawhi still out.
Powell is out. Norman Powell is out.
No, he's back.
Norman Powell is out Wednesday.
Did this just drop like a second ago?
Yes.
Okay.
Norman Powell is still out.
All right. Interesting. You gotta, because I thought you were saying, okay, that's he was not. It's weird. It's not on the injury report. Not in the 5:30 injury report, but like at 5:35 they decided to give the update. Okay, good job, Clippers. But we'll see how we adjust that accordingly. But Harden will probably look even better. KPJ is an interesting flyer.
Well,
my favorite play in this game. What do you got, Chop?
We've had plenty of sample on it now. Like he hasn't played in about almost 2 weeks, so we kind of know projections are just going to be what they would have been, 2 days ago. So we kind of know what's going on. Yeah, Harden, Zubac, going to take more shots. going to be. I still think, as unexciting as he is, Kevin Porter Jr. is still 4,200, and he's still delivering. Like, I know he had a bad game against Boston, but that's Boston. That's a tough matchup. He's still a mid-20s guy. Like, can get you, anywhere between 22 and 28 fantasy points on a given night at 4,200. Could be good depending on the slate. So, yeah, I think that's interesting. Mo Bamba at 3,200. I mean, if you're starving for value, man, and you're trying to load up stars and scrubs, yeah, that might be a route you want to take. I don't know. I don't like playing it, but you never know.
I'm not doing it. No.
Yeah, I'm not. And then Jordan Poole being back, kind of muddies the water just a little bit for Washington. They underachieved last night in general. I don't know how much I want to take them tonight. So, but I guess you could take a shot on Poole coming back. He's got plenty of rest now, and I don't see, with him being back, kind of takes a lot of these other guys off the board for me. So, and Kuzma's still sitting there. We tried to play him in a great matchup last night. He was okay. He wasn't bad, but I just back-to-backs now. This might not be his best spot here. So I think maybe Poole, but, Harden, Zubac, Kevin Porter Jr., and then running back with Jordan Poole.
Harden to me looks awesome. I think we just got, did we get Harden without our projections updated? Because he's got a monster projection. 54 median DK at 9K looks awesome. And then I love Zubac as well. Gafford and Clay are out there for Dallas. Okay, so Lively might get a few more minutes. Oh, wait. Yeah, we'll talk about some of the Dallas stuff. Washington, Grimes, and Lively are in. Thank you for that, TJ. Thank you for that, Steve. The matchup for Zubac is awesome, right? He gets there. What does Zubac do? He rebounds the ball, and he scores in the paint. He averages like 13 boards a game. He scores like 87% of his points in the paint. Washington, one of the top teams as far as bleeding points in the paint. They're the second. They give the second most opponent rebounds as well. I like Zubac a lot, and he's been involved in some blowouts. But when he's not blowing people out, or the Clippers aren't involved in blowouts, he's playing 35 minutes. I think he's one of my favorites. He's my favorite mid-tier play on the slate. Think. If he's not my favorite, he's still on the Family Feud board or on the podium. Full X for Washington for me. Bobby, Clippers, Washington.
Yeah, I think Harden is in a fantastic spot. 29% usage rate on the year, and the Washington Wizards are like second worst in the league in terms of DVP versus point guard. So I really like Harden. Zubac, you can make the case for Zubac. I think he's fine. I'll trust your intuition, Dean, on that one.
He's a good play tonight. I think he is at least. I'll be playing him.
I think on the other side, Kyle Kuzma for 500 less is very sneaky. He would be the only Washington play that I'd be interested in.
All right, let's go to the last 7 o'clock game. Let's see if we got projections updated on Portland. Projection team working hard. Shout out to them because 14 gamer on FanDuel, 11 gamer on DK. Lots of news trickling on through. The last 7 o'clock game, it is Portland taking on the Pacers. 230.5 is the total. Pulling up their injury reports. I don't goof anything. Yeah, Ayton is officially in. Of course, Klingon is out. Jeremy Grant is out. Robert Williams is out. Scoots, is he in or out? I didn't catch. You guys know if Scoots? I think he's in, right? I knew he was questionable before.
He's in.
Indiana. Okay.
He's in, brother. He's in.
Is he in or out, Chop? You know if
he's in? I saw it a minute ago on my timeline. Yeah, he's available Wednesday. I knew I saw it.
Yeah, the injury report, the way they don't update it, it's every hour. It's a new update, so it's not. Well, at least I don't think so. I should go ahead and give that a refresh. The whole new batch comes in every hour. But yeah, Shepard, of course, is out for Indiana. Nembhard, Naismith still out. Furphy expected to be available. Is Portland interested? I know Avdia was looking pretty good earlier today as far as point per dollar, and I think we're projecting him to start. Yeah, Simons, Sharp, Kamara, Avdia, and Ayton. They do have their number one center back. Again, they're down their two backups. So I'm trying to, I guess, Walker and Reith. I guess they may toss off Walker for a little bit, but yeah, forget about Reith. Bobby, how do you have the Pacers The Blazers, it certainly feels like a potential blowout. Halliburton's been better of late. Good for him. And also, if you look at his like home road splits, and people have like suggested like he's been dealing with his back. Like, well, it's not officially reported, but traveling with the back is a little tricky. And maybe that's why he's been so much better at home than on the road. Just throwing that out there. But yeah, what do you have as far as the Pacers and the Blazers, who may have some value plays now? Maybe.
Yeah, Delano Blanton's hitting a lot of my stuff. I think it's more of a pricing play though. So I don't really. He's not my favorite value. He'd be in for me, but Denny at 5.5, where the Pacers struggle with wings, rim defense. Denny's my favorite Portland Trailblazer. People are going to play Halliburton. I'd probably be under the field. I know the home road splits are in his favor, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't have any interest in Halliburton. Turner 6,500. I think you can go to Turner as well. Shaden Sharp at 6,100 for Portland's another play that I have interest in, but that's pretty much it. Denny definitely my favorite play from this game.
You mentioned Banton, about a 25 DK fantasy point projection as a median score at 4.5. It's not amazing, but like he's just like kind of a glue guy, I guess. It's probably just going to make some other stuff work in your lineups. If I land on it, so be it, but I'm not really seeking it out. I'm only giving him 22 minutes. Probably mops up if things get ugly. Chop anything out here as far as the Blazers and Indiana?
With those other guys out, so there's a lot of frontline guys out for Portland with Aiden being your center and then whatever follows him up now without those other guys makes me like Miles Turner a lot more. Like Miles Turner tonight, my favorite Pacer. If you want to get to Halliburton or Siakam, we ain't going to, squabble about it. They're fine. But Miles Turner's my favorite on the flip side. I'm with Bobby. Denny Avia is my favorite guy here for that team. That's a lot of parts missing there for Portland in the middle. And I know he doesn't specifically play center, but they could still do some things and get him some extra minutes tonight because of it. And he's probably their best player, to be honest with you right now. So I like Avia.
I think he's going to be landing on cash lineups. I'm just kind of running some optimal stuff, a little bit of juice, a little bit of bells and whistles, but I'm going to guess he's going to be one of my more popular players. But we'll see what happens with Dallas if anything changes significantly for them. I imagine that's being worked on right now. Wow. That was a surprise. Very first optimal I'm seeing is 4 Clippers. It's too many, I think. Porter, Mann are all good point per dollar plays, right? As medium players. And Zubac and Harden, we already talked about. Those two look really, really strong. I would not play 4 Clippers, but yeah, the Clippers are going to look pretty good. Where is Avdia? I thought he would be somewhere. Oh, he's the number one guy. Okay, yeah, 56% on DK. Avdia, Zubac, and Drummond. I tell you, Drummond's going to project well. And that dude on Charlotte that we don't want to play, that we don't learn how to pronounce his name. When we curse, he's only got like 7 fantasy points in the fourth quarter. I don't want to play him, at least. I don't want to speak for everybody else, but I am playing him. Check the poll. Do you channel surf? 41% yes, 42% no, 16% sometimes. So we've learned nothing. Basically 50-50.
Well, I don't want to, be a curmudgeon here, but if you sometimes channel surf 16%, sometimes channel surf, that means you do channel surf. So that should go to yes. I mean, it should. I'm just.
Well, you're telling people their answer wrong. Like somebody clicks something. Somebody's like, you know what? I do it, but very rarely.
If you do it, you do it. Sometimes means you do it. So I don't.
So once is yes. Like I channel surf once and like
sometimes isn't once. Once isn't sometimes though. That's not, sometimes implies.
That's all
multiple.
The choices they had to work with. That's all Steve gave them.
Well, it could have just been a 2-choice poll, right? I don't know though. I don't know how the polls work behind the scenes. Maybe you got to make an extra category up there. I don't know.
No, you could do 2 to 4. 2 to 4. But that was a
2. Maybe it should have just been a yes and a no. Huh? Or the third option is always the go F yourself. People like to fill that one out too, something like that.
Show me the results. I don't want to actually partake.
Show me the results.
Okay. let's move on. Steve was saying his head's fall. I understand why sometimes, or like barely, rarely, maybe barely, or on occasionally. Close enough. Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about the Pistons. No, we got to talk about New York and Dallas. Do we have projections updated for Dallas? That's what I want to know.
We're okay. Let's do it. We don't need the projections. We got this, Dean.
I just wanted to see if the people are on. I think we are. I think we are on top of it. Well, maybe not. I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
We got a projection update of 548, so it just came through. 233 is the total. Dallas is a 4-point dog here at home versus New York. Pulling up the injury report right now. New York, they're pretty healthy, right? Nobody really missing of note. We know Luka's out. Gafford is out. Gafford's out. Lively's in. They're both ill. I imagine like they ate together. One guy can give it a go. One guy cannot. Clay was out. Is that correct? I want to make sure I get that right. Clay is out. Out. And Grimes is in. Gafford out. Okay. What do you got, Chop?
I was hoping all these guys would be out, man. I was hoping they'd all be out. That'd have been some luscious value right there.
Who did you want to play that you're not going to play now?
I would have been a lock on PJ Washington. Just having a couple guys still in there takes a bit of it takes a bit of shine off though at 6,400. But at 64 with all those guys out, the two centers out, oh man, that'd have been good. But
Marshall's going to look pretty good as well.
Yep, Marshall's going to pop in the projection. So. Grimes, I'm probably not going to play Grimes, even though the price tag is cheap enough with Clay out. It's a possibility. I still like PJ a little bit, just not as much now. It's the New York Knicks, and they haven't been a juggernaut on defense. So I think that you could play. Kyrie at this price still. Like I think this has a chance to be still a really competitive, good game on both sides there. So. Kyrie's going to take the majority of the shots for this team tonight, and I don't think there's anybody that's going to necessarily get in his way for New York. And on the flip side, New York, Karl-Anthony Towns is going to have his way again with people. You know, if he hits his three-point shots, he's going to win you a GPP. Jalen Brunson's okay. Man, I did not see OG scoring 40 real-life points on,
Well, if you play 48 minutes – it only helps.
That dude could play 98 minutes in 16 overtimes and not get you 40 most nights. But he got there. I wouldn't expect anything like that again. Don't expect it from Bridges either anytime soon. So I'd probably stick with Brunson, Cat, and Josh Hart on that side of the ball. There's value elsewhere. So there's good pieces in this game. But PJ Washington is still probably my favorite, even though I would have loved him if both the centers were out.
Well, everybody would have loved him then, but yeah. That'll keep his ownership in check, at least somewhat, I think. It is a revenge game for the Brunson burner back in Dallas. Only played twice since New York. And one of the games he got injured, I was curious. I was checking to see his history. He had one good game, one game where I think he got hurt.
It's Grimes' revenge, too.
Oh, yeah. How vengeful is Grimes? Do we know?
Nah, he's a nice guy. He ain't vengeful.
You can be a nice guy and vengeful. I don't think it's an either or.
I don't think he's got
it. John Wick's a nice guy. Just don't kill his dog. Spoiler.
You gave it away.
Don't do it.
You gave it
it's
away,
like 7 movies ago. Some people Boban shouldn't mess with them either in the library.
Steve hasn't seen any of them yet, man.
No,
you just ruined it for him.
He's got a long list. You know what? I bet you I'll take over on a half of a John Wick movie. I say producer Steve has seen one.
I've never seen one in their entirety.
You saw like an hour's worth of one?
I don't like violence. Like it's too violent.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll take the under. We'll take the under for you, and let's see if Steve can confirm or deny in the chat. I bet he's seen one. I feel like he's seen one. Maybe not. Bobby, thoughts as far as New York and Dallas?
Yeah, with Luka out, PJ is going to play 38 to 40 minutes. Like that's what he's averaged. So I think that's fine. His usage rate, he gets a 3% bump. I think that's okay. The real play for me is Towns. Like who's guarding Towns without Lively, without Gafford? Sorry, there's really no one on the Dallas side that's going to be able to handle Towns. So Towns for me is the strongest play. You can always play Kyrie, Jalen Brunson, but I think my favorite 2 plays are Cat and PJ.
Chad is speculating that Bobby is a rom-com guy. If that's the case, no shame in that. Nothing wrong with that. And apparently,
nothing wrong with a little rom-com, Little
Yeah.
Netflix and chill rom-com, I'm fine with that. I was a big, what was that movie with Sydney Sweeney? We watched that a couple times.
Anyone But You or Something But You or anything. Is that right?
You, yeah.
How do I know that? Like I should have that movie should have erased my brain immediately. Yeah, we did have a conversation about it actually in real life. Has Bobby seen Office Space yet? Have you not seen Office Space? You were told to see it. You still haven't seen it?
Why haven't I seen it?
Well, that's a question for you. Why have you not seen Office?
Is it a rom-com?
No, I mean there's a little. There's it's definitely a com. There's some rom. I wouldn't go to rom-com.
Okay. Any hot female actresses?
Jennifer Aniston, isn't it? You like her? She's delightful.
She's old now, though.
Well, I mean, okay.
It's not like Friends, Jennifer Aniston.
The movie was like 25 years ago, so 20 years ago or so, whatever it was.
You can see it.
Mike Judge. All right. Let's do one more game, and then we'll spin the wheel. We have 84 likes, so we got to get to 100. And we're not going to beg, we're not going to grovel. We got to get to 16 more. And apparently, by producer Steve said he's seen parts of John Wick. You guys apparently are channel surfing into or off of John Wick. So you guys answered yes. You still channel surfing because you've only seen parts of John Wick movies. Hey, let's talk about Detroit. The Pistons are taking on the Grizzlies. Another basketball game that's happening tonight in the association. 225.5 is the total. The Grizz are 8-point favorites. Edie's out. Ja is out again. His knee. No Vince Williams. No Gigi Jackson. As far as the Pistons, Cunningham, I guess he's not officially out, but he's doubtful. Tobias Harris is questionable. He's got a hip. So he's questionable. We'll keep an eye on that. Cole Swider, questionable. Who cares? Is he even on the team? Might be in the G League. Okay. Bobby, Memphis, Detroit. How do we feel about this game?
Yeah, it's gonna be weird for me. I like Tim Hardaway and Tobias. I guess you can play on the Detroit side. I don't really have any interest with Ja Morant out. On the Memphis side, like Scottie Pippen Jr., I think is my favorite play. I think he's a really, really good play. It doesn't seem like he's getting too much ownership too. He's only 5,900. I like that. I like going to Scottie Pippen Jr. a good bit. You can play, obviously, Jaren Jackson. Good luck. He'll get in foul trouble if I play him. Aldama. There's not really much, but definitely like Scottie Pippen. Can play Desmond Bain, Jaden Ivey. But Scottie Pippen's the guy for me from this game.
I love the Pippen call. I was a little surprised. I thought he'd be more popular. Once Ja came back, it's like, well, Pippen was great, but he's going to go back to bed. But now, we have him playing 28 minutes, assuming to draw the start here. Memphis, the problem with them is they just don't play anybody deep. They're kind of like the Warriors, right? Without Curry, without, nobody plays more than 30 minutes, essentially. We have Bain projected for 30, Triple J 29, Pipper 28, and then everybody else is like mid-20s, and it's just super annoying, right? Aldama and Wells and Clark and Nardog and Smart, and there's none of them are really that interesting or playable, but I do like Pippen here. Do we have an if-then for Harris? I know we have some if-then set up. Is there anybody who can actually Ron Holland, maybe? I don't know. No, who would become interesting if we lose Harris? Ivy might just get stronger, who looks really good as is. I think he's the clear run back if you're playing some Memphis stuff. Those are my two favorite plays in the game, though. And that's projections as well. Ivy and Pippen. Chop, you got anything new or different? Or are we in on this game? Is this kind of a snoozer? How do things change if Harris is out?
Okay. I don't know. That'd be a good one because he's kind of a unique player. So I'd have to dig into on-off numbers, but I haven't done that because I kind of think he plays, but who knows? Maybe Ossie Thompson gets a little bump if Harris is out. Maybe just a little bit, but I think Memphis would be the focal point here if nothing else changes here. Like Desmond Bane's been horrible, so I'm not even going to say Desmond Bane. Well, he's not been good lately. He's just not shooting the ball right now very well. And when he's not shooting well, he's not good. He's not going to produce for you in the fantasy-wise. Pippen's a good call. I think there's value in this game at this point. LaRavia and Kennard, one or the other. Obviously not both, but one or the other could be a salary saver for you. LaRavia is really does a good job of stuffing a lot of stats in his limited minutes, and Kennard can get hot and carry you as a salary saver. He's 3,900. That's pretty good.
Kennard revenge game? Was he a Piston? I feel like he was a Piston. Am I making that up?
I feel like Kennard's probably got about 5 or 6 or 7 revenge games on the schedule
Flipper?
every year. So it might be.
Yeah, he was a Piston for sure.
Yeah. Okay, I thought so. I wasn't sure if I made that up or not. Yeah. Ivy, like he's up to 7.5, but without Cunningham. But Cunningham not officially ruled out, but he's obviously running the show here. The Duren thing, man, it's so Duren and Stewart. You never really know how those minutes are going to go. It's very similar to Capella and Okongwu. But if you can somehow get 30 Duren minutes, I'm not saying you will, but like he can get there. Also, he's not cheap. He's 6'8" now. But sometimes Beef Stew outplays him and gets more run. Beasley's been all right too. I see Steve's talking about Beasley in chat. He's just a little bit more expensive, but I think he's fine. He would also probably, I guess I don't know more minutes he would play. He's already getting 32. All-Star's only played one game this year. He played 16 minutes. You know, he had those blood clots. Took him a long time to come back from it, so I don't know how much run he would get. He is super cheap, but you definitely got the better twin in there in Houston, Chop, with Amen. And like last year, it seemed like they were, you know, All-Star came out to at least great defensively. Both of them, excellent defenders. Whoever taught them,
they're very good athletes. They're great athletes. Amen might be the fastest coast-to-coast player in the NBA, like raw speed.
Ooh.
You don't think? Have you ever seen the fast break?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like Ja is somebody I would think, maybe.
He gets down the court so fast, man. Like not with the ball in his hand. I'm just saying like on the wing on a fast break.
Just getting in position.
Or on defense, trying to get back on defense, and you go full speed. Like he looks like he's an athlete, but yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with him. He's a good player.
We have, let's see, we got 3 more games on the DraftKings slate. Crunch time coming in about 15 minutes or so. So time doing a pretty good job as far as time. But let's go ahead and yield to producer Steve. He's going to spin the wheel. I think we got to 100 likes. Steve, confirm or deny? Did we get to 100 likes?
99.
Oh my God. 99. Why do the people got to cut a coast like that? We're going to spin it. And if we're at 100 after one, we'll keep spinning. I suppose that's what we're doing. That makes sense?
Yep.
Thank you.
Holly Tigers, number 1. All right. Remove. And where is my shuffle? Shuffle it up.
We did it up.
Double M squared. And we are at 116. See how easy that was?
We're going to spin it once more?
Yep. I'm ready. All right, guys. I'll shoot you a message in Discord. Congratulations and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Speaking of Thanksgiving, our Thanksgiving has a little something for everybody. This week only, we're letting you pick the discount. We're offering deals on all active sports, including $40 off your first month of Combo Pro, 50% off the NBA annual package. With a jam-packed sports schedule this week, it's a perfect time to get premium access. If you didn't happen to win it, right there, a week free of RG Premium every single Wednesday. Every Wednesday, usually 6 o'clock on the East Coast, 5 o'clock Central Time. we will spin that wheel and give away a free week of RG Premium. Should also mention, since we're here, shot quality. If you want access to some of the most advanced NBA data in the market, get yourself some shot quality projections for Lineup HQ. You can get 1 month for $40, the entire season, the entire year, $200, or a test run. You want to see what it is. What is this shot quality? 3 days, less than $10. Check out the link in the description for more information. Okay, 3 more games to go. 8 o'clock, Sacramento, Minnesota. 218.5 is the total. We saw a lineup change last time out with Sacramento where Keon Ellis jumped in the lineup. But now DeRozan got hurt. Got like 5 or 10 minutes or so. He was really buried on that team there for Sacramento. But they're going to need him again tonight because they are without double Ds. Though DeMar DeRozan, the rest of that injury report, they did sign – who did they just sign? The 3-and-D guy, Crowder. I'm guessing he's not playing, but I don't know. We saw Elf get signed and basically play right away. Maybe he plays basketball tonight. Not sure. Just kind of be aware. Trey Lyles is out for a while for Sacramento. Minnesota is pretty clean. It's just Joe Ingles. Jingle and Joe. Doesn't matter. He's not playing basketball this evening. Bobby, the Kings and the T-Wolves, where are we at? Are we interested in this game or not so much?
I would be interested if we had more value in running back De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Edwards at relatively low ownership. You're taking DeMar out for the Kings, so I don't mind that. Anthony Edwards, I think, is always fine in GPPs. It's just tough to get the two of them, especially because we have little to no value. Malik Monk, I think at 5,400 is a very good beneficiary of DeMar DeRozan sitting. He should see a 6% usage bump, play 30-plus minutes, kind of handle the ball in the second unit. So I think Monk is my favorite actual overall play, but in GPPs, if I can find a way to run Fox and Edwards back, I like that a good bit. Number 2.
You're on mute. You've been on mute the whole time.
Oh my God. Unbelievable. Who took the over on 1.5 mutes? That was like plus 500.
That wasn't just your typical mute. Sir. That
was like 3 or 4 or 5 sentences.
You were rambling in a zone there for a little bit on mute.
Will would call it ultimate mute. He calls that ultimate mutes. But sorry, I've been dealing with a cough and I've been muting more often than I typically am. But my bad. But this is why I work for free. Because you can't. I get what I'm paid. I get what I'm worth. And if you keep talking while the mute button's going, don't deserve to get paid at all. Yeah. So Chop, Sacramento, Minnesota.
Yeah, on the surface, not a lot that I like about this game, but DeRozan being out, could lead you. The Malik Monk is always in play in a situation like that. De'Aaron Fox in this matchup is also in play with DeRozan out. Don't like the Minnesota side, not at all. De'Aaron Fox just played these guys 2 weeks ago and took 35 shots. That's the way you're going to beat. That's the way you beat the Minnesota defense anyway. Is him on the perimeter getting all the shots, and he dropped 82 DraftKings points. So DeRozan's out. He could be a slate breaker. I'm not like going out of my way to plug him in a lineup, but when I build a lineup and I've got a star spot waiting to happen and I'm looking at guys right around the $9,100 range, he's certainly in that conversation.
Was that the game that Sabonis was out? The Fox game you're talking about? That might have been that game, right?
No.
Pretty sure.
Sabonis played that game. He played. Sabonis played 40 minutes that game.
Okay, but there's a couple games after that. Maybe it was after that where he went. Fox was on this ridiculous. He scored 60 and 49 in back-to-back games.
It was
49.
So DeRozan was out that game is why I bring it up. Like,
yeah,
DeRozan was out. It's very similar to tonight. DeRozan being out against Minnesota.
All right. Anything else I've noticed as far as this game, or shall we move on? There's 2 more to go. Yeah, I think we're moving on. Toronto taking on the New Orleans. 222.5 is a total. New Orleans is a 3-point favorite. New Orleans getting healthier, right? We're expecting DeJounte Murray back. No Zion. Trey Murphy still questionable. Ingram still questionable. Jordan Hawkins questionable. Grand Theft Alvarado, he's out for a while. No Herb as well. Toronto's about as healthy as no. There's
no. There's somebody missing from Toronto.
Oh, well, quickly we haven't seen it in a while either. But yeah, your boy Gravy, he's out tonight. So there you go.
Hey, that's this kid's favorite holiday. Is tomorrow.
So you think he's going to play well because his name kind of sort of sounds like?
Well,
a
he's not playing at all, unfortunately. But
well, that's right. Yeah,
it would have been a great narrative street for him, but unfortunately, we don't get it.
Definitely would have been a great narrative street. Yeah, Chop. There you go. Producer Steve having a good time over here. What do you got, Chop? Toronto and the Pels. We're still kind of
not a lot, Dean. Not a lot. We got the questionable marks on Ingram and Murphy. Obviously, those are big. If those guys both get ruled out, then we can talk about some things here. Otherwise, you kind of nailed it. Everybody's coming back. The prices on the other guys are up. Just not seeing it, even though it's a good matchup. For the Toronto side, I'm not getting there either on a lot of these guys. I think you could always play a Scotty Barnes or a Jakob Poeltl, and they could crush GPP. RJ Barrett takes a lot of shots for this team, but they're priced up, man, to where they needed to be to make me not really consider them too much. So just not getting a lot from this game at all.
All right, Bobby, anything enthuse you here as far as Toronto and New Orleans? It's a good spot, I think, for Poeltl, but he's just not that cheap. But, he can put up 45 or 50 or so. New Orleans pretty terrible on the inside as far as bleeding points there. I think they're second in the league as far as giving up points in the paint. That's where Poeltl lives. Don't mind Barnes either, but the price is a little bit excessive. And, yeah, stuff could change with New Orleans. But with Murray coming back, it wasn't I think it was a hand, right? So I guess he's going to be mostly full. How many minutes we given Murray? Let's see. Why am I not seeing our DeJounte Murray minutes? We're giving him around 30. Yeah, 29. So it's a full price, so I can't imagine playing him. So this game is kind of uneventful unless more people get ruled out. Bobby?
Scotty Barnes at 8,700 would be my only play from this game.
Yeah, it's an interesting big spend. I don't mind it. I'm not sure if I'm going to do it, but I can see it. I can definitely see him.
I feel like it would be a play you would have interest in.
No, I'm not against it. I like it, but just I don't have the salary for it. That's just sort of my because in part the next game, I think that's where I'm going to spend my big salary piece. We'll see. But the next game is the Lakers. The Lakers taking on the Spurs. 228 is the total. We got some stars here. We got Wemby. We got LeBron. We have the Brow. The Lakers, just an absolute stinker. Laid an egg last night versus Phoenix in a cup game. They were just terrible. So it is the back-to-back. It is travel. But the minutes were not fully pushed. They still played Davis like 35 or so. We did get a midday downgrade for Connect. He's questionable. Reddish is questionable too. Jackson Hayes, doubtful. I don't think he plays. He took a bad fall. As far as the Spurs, I think we're getting Devin Vassell back tonight. Probably some limited minutes. Keldon Johnson, the big body, he's also probable as well. Sohan, of course, still not with them. Bobby, do we like? I like Anthony Davis here. I really like Anthony Davis. I think he's my favorite big spend in the slate. I don't know if I'm getting there, but he's certainly my pool if I find a way to get there. Not afraid of Wemby. He dropped 40 on Wemby earlier in the season. So whatever, not afraid of that. Clearly, 16, 17 games of the season, at least the fantasy torch has been passed. Bigger usage than LeBron, more fantasy points or minutes than LeBron. It's I don't want to say it's his team, whatever. People do that. But he's the one you want, and he's a little bit more expensive, of course. Where are you at as far as Lakers and Spurs, Bobby?
Yeah, AD is my favorite play from this game. Probably favorite play on the slate from a spend perspective. Like him more than LeBron, although LeBron has done really well in this matchup. Also, I think Wemby is the one that's kind of going to get lost in the shuffle, and when that happens, I like him in GBPs. He's 300 more than Davis. Has played well versus the Lakers previously, so I could see flipping Anthony Davis for Wemby. I think Wemby would be a lot lower owned, but definitely Anthony Davis is a guy I want to get to a good bit. LeBron is in play, and I don't know, maybe some Chris Paul at 6,300 and Wemby lineups I think is fine.
Wemby was nailing all his threes last night against Utah. I watched a good bit of that game. I don't know if our ownership stuff's going to hold, but it's really interesting to me if this is even close. We have, and again, obviously, the closer we get to lock, the more refined it becomes, and more news, yada, yada. But we have Anthony Davis at 3% on DK, which to me seems egregious. How is it 3%? The most popular play in this game is Castle at 8%. I think he might be good, Castle. I think he might be good. Probably still a little bit too cheap. Vassell coming back, but we're giving him, just 21 minutes. So obviously you can't play him. Going to take away from some, but probably not Castle. Not enough. We're giving him 31 minutes, Castle, that is. But yeah, I love Davis as well. If he's even close to 3%, if he's 10%, and you know how that single entry stuff is where I like to live, and those kind of plays don't get played in single entry. So I love them there. If it's anywhere near 3, 7, 8, 10%. Chop, are you in agreement? Are we going to sweep the board? You like Davis as well? How do you feel about Lakers and Spurs?
Davis is fine. He's always going to be a good player. I mean, always a good play. Yeah, he's fine. I guess I'm not totally not something I expected from you guys. I guess I'm not that on board with it, but he's a good player, no doubt about it. I'm actually more intrigued with Wembanyama in this game. On the other side, he's only 300 more. He's only had 3 games in his career against Anthony Davis, and that's Davis is a defensive player of the year kind of guy. So that's kind of a benchmark. Typically, I'm not looking at defense versus a particular player, but in Davis's case, it does matter. He's had 3 games against Davis in his career. 60, 68, and 74 DK points.
It's pretty good.
He double-digit rebounds. He out-rebounds him every game, double-digit rebounds every game, 27-plus real-life points every game. He has no problems with Davis. So, and I think it probably stems from the Lakers a lot of times saying, this is our defensive player of the year. We'll let you have Wembanyama anytime you get into that situation. We're fine keeping you one-on-one with him, and it's just not a good strategy for a guy like that. So I'm probably more liking Wembanyama and GBPs than Anthony Davis.
Crunch time coming in here shortly. I believe it's TJ. TJ's been hanging out in chat throughout the entire show. Neil Orfield as well as Kevin Roth. They should be coming in here momentarily. Somebody just joined the show, Bobby. They want to know who your favorite play is, who's going to break the slate, your boldest take. What do you got for him?
Scottie Pippen Jr., no Ja Morant. No one's going to play him. I love Scottie tonight.
I do love that call. I do. We're in sync tonight. Me and you, Bobby. Don't mush me, or maybe
no. You mush me. You mush me. Don't mush me. We got it. Don't come over here.
Chopper, who do you want to mush? And you got a favorite play, favorite take, favorite something?
I'm going to say this guy's name. He's a crapshoot a lot of times, but I like the matchup tonight quite a bit. It's Miles Turner, so I'm going Miles Turner tonight.
Nice call, Chopper. You always come up with the good ones.
All right.
You,
I believe we have crunch time coming in here momentarily. They are assembling. Just reading the notes here. We got Neil coming in just a second. So let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and bring in crunch time. Let's bring him in right now. All right. Here is Neil. We got TJ. We got Roth. Roth, your laptop, your computer is not imploded on us, which is a good thing, right?
This is my wife's now, and I have no headphones, so if there's incredible, horrible feedback, that's me. But does it sound okay?
I think you sound okay. What do you guys think? I think it sounds pretty fun. Yeah, sounds fine.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I thought there was going to be horrible feedback because I don't have headphones in, like a loop, but okay.
StreamYard's usually good for taking that out. I've been going headphoneless for a week or two here because my headphones have been being weird, but StreamYard's usually good at getting rid of that background noise.
Okay, look at us.
TJ, our poll question, I'm going to you because you're with me, so that's why I'm going to you. I'm leading the witness. But yeah, do you channel surf? And you were in the chat. Who channel surfs in the year 2024? Channel surf, who does that? 41% say yes, 41% say no, and then 17% say sometimes. Whatever. But TJ, why would you, under what circumstance, outside of sports, would you channel surf?
Nostalgia. Just liking to scroll the feed maybe eases the mind. It's a calming experience getting to look through the channels, find something you might like. I don't know. I'm not shaming it. I just personally don't use cable for anything other than sports.
Yeah. All right. Neil, I see you nodding your head.
I can't remember the last time I channel surfed. Like I look for a specific, I mean, I surf like Netflix. So I guess I like sort of like I search, just like scroll through Netflix or Hulu for like, okay, what's available to watch? What movie can I watch? What TV show do I want to start? So I guess that's sort of the modern form of channel surfing, but like on a TV, like through cable channels, no, can't remember the last time.
Oh, streaming apps like flip through that all the time.
By the way, New Orleans, Trey Murphy is out. Brandon Ingram is out. Jordan Hawkins game time. So New Orleans got a little bit messy. You're going to want to keep an eye on that. With that. Oh, should have mentioned tomorrow. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Enjoy yourself. Have a good time. Be safe. There is a football show in the morning. TJ, you a part of that? You might be a part of that. I think you are.
Yeah, me, Tim, and Will.
11:30 East Coast, something like that. Give or take.
Can tell you right now, it begins tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, there'll be a show for that. There's going to be a Friday showdown show for Kansas City and the Raiders. I'll be on later on tonight with the Pick Six show. We'll be talking. Yeah, we'll be talking specifically Thanksgiving and the main slate. So if you're playing the Thanksgiving slate, you're going to want to listen to that as well. But yeah, myself, Chop, Bobby, let's get out of here. Roth, take it away.
Good stuff. As always, welcome to it, ladies and gents. You know the drill. We're, I don't know, almost halfway through the season, a third of the way through the season. I don't know, but we're well enough into the season where you know what we're doing. We're talking hoops, two of the sharpest minds in the biz. Got my guy Neil in the house. Is that an XFL hat that I spy?
Yeah, this is it's not the like original XFL from the 90s, but I got this when The Rock was, took over the XFL like 2020 or so.
Yeah, I love it. The XFL has since folded, right?
It has folded. Yeah,
longer.
They combined XFL and the USFL became the UFL as the new spring football league.
Okay. Did that fail yet, or is that still?
No. Come on,
Okay.
show some faith. Come on.
Okay,
I'm a big spring football fan, so yeah, I'm hoping that it keeps up.
You smell what the Roth is cooking. We got TJ in the house as well. What up, TJ?
Not too much. Got a big few days of sports coming ahead here. We got Thanksgiving football tomorrow. We got football again on Friday. And then Saturday, I go in Friday and Saturday. I'll be in, and Sunday, we'll be in full producer mode. So busy few days coming ahead, but I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to all the sports.
Okay, very good. A few people talking in the chat about Thanksgiving in Canada. There is Canadian Thanksgiving, but it is not the same day as our Thanksgiving. So do you just completely ignore our Thanksgiving?
Oh, I love it because I get all the football. But like from a food standpoint, yeah, like it's just any other day. It was always a fun day as a teacher because I would do things like, hey, if we're good for this portion of the day, I'll throw on the football game like without sound while you guys work on the smart board. So that was always pretty fun. But for me, it's just extra nice because it's a Thursday where I'm sitting at home working like I always am. But now there's football on throughout the day. So it's just a nice fun day. It kind of feels like a little mini March Madness kind of thing.
Okay. But I'm excited for you. It sounds like a glorious day. JMO says, did Roth get a promotion? Eric says Roth sounds snotty. The latter is correct. I am snotty. I don't know why you think I got a promotion. Nope, that didn't happen. Anyways, guys, we got to dive into the slate. It's been kind of a crazy day trying to get my tech stuff right. So I need y'all to help catch me up. And typically those are the days when I magically crush, going from knowing nothing to just paying attention to the show and doing awesome. Apparently, I don't know how Steve's promo read went yesterday, but
crushed it.
I believe it. TJ, why don't you walk me through the news, and then Neil, I'll have you lead us off with some FanDuel talk at point guard after that.
So we're still waiting on some, I think, but for the most part, we've gotten almost everything that we needed to get. We just recently got New Orleans news. Jordan Hawkins is still a game time decision, but Trey Murphy and Brandon Ingram are both ruled out. That should theoretically open up some value for them, but they have so many guys who just play the exact same position and who are combo point/shooting guards on that team that I don't exactly know what they're going to do yet. So looking forward to what the projections update and see there, because they got a lot of small guys. They don't really have a lot of Ingram Murphy type players who will be the 3/stretch 4. So looking forward to seeing what the projections have for that. Dallas we were waiting on some news. We got Gafford and Klay Thompson out, with Derek Lively and Quentin Grimes ruled in. So there's again another game where you have Hardy. So first things, like taking a step back, for an 11-game slate, we have very little value. Like it's kind of weird how, considering how many injuries and how many games there are, how little of good value that we have. There's a lot of cheap guys you can take shots on, but nobody you feel comfortable about, because a lot of these injuries are coming on teams who have had injuries for many, many days now. And so these guys have all been priced up for certain situations, or they're players who are going to expect to play close to 30 minutes, but are terrible point per minute producers, or they're great point per minute producers, but they're only going to play 16 minutes. And those are kind of the guys we're choosing from today. And so Dallas is another one of those teams that opens up Grimes, Dinwiddie, and Hardy, who are all almost the exact same price, give or take a few $100s, basically the same play.
Yeah, you don't feel great. You don't feel great about any of those guys.
Like, wouldn't be value we'd feel good about on another slate, but on this one, we kind of are. We got Jeremy Grant ruled out for Portland, but DeAndre Ayton and Scoot Henderson are back. The Sixers are going to be without a bunch of guys, and they are starting 2 big men. They got Yabusele and Drummond starting, so that opens up some potential value for us. But there's a lot of, not much we're still really waiting on, but it's a really good tournament slate because none of the chalk actually feels that good. The highest owned projected play on the slate is Denny Avdia. Like, I'm still getting it pretty close to the field on Denny Avdia, but like, if you wanted to get off any of this chalk, do you really feel that bad about getting off 30+% Denny Avdia on an 11-game slate, 30+% Drummond on an 11-game slate? They're like, it's a pretty good slate for tournaments.
Yeah, these are the slates where you just don't eat the chalk, because the chalk isn't great chalk, right? There's going to be dudes who are high owned that are just like incrementally better than the next best dude, and the ownership is way higher because that's what the optimals are spitting out. So that is very interesting. Thank you for that catch up.
There's going to be some chalk I am eating on this slate. Like, for what it's worth, I have about 30% Avdia. I'm getting to a lot of the mid-range chalk / value today, and so I do have a decent amount of Drummond as well. There's a lot of players, which we'll get to, like Saloon, however you say his name, for Charlotte, or Anthony Black, Tim Hardaway Jr., guys like that who are going to be picking up some ownership. And I'm not playing on the super cheap range and just taking shots on some guys who are going to be 1% who do not project well, but have a ceiling depending on how the game goes. Yeah. So I'm getting off a lot of the cheap chalk, but the mid-range chalk and the expensive stuff like James Harden, who's not that expensive, which is why he's chalk, I'm still on today.
Gotcha. Okay, very good. Neil, let's dive into it here. Starting on FanDuel at the point guard spot, how do you begin your build over there?
Yeah, so, and it's tough because we don't have updates yet for New Orleans with Ingram and Murphy out. That might change sort of the equation for the entire slate. But I can tell you what I have as of right now at point guard on FanDuel. Getting to a ton of Scottie Pippen. He's 5,800. Strong point per dollar play. Not getting crazy high ownership on FanDuel. So I think Scottie Pippen looks pretty good on FanDuel. Kyrie Irving, again, no Luka, is going to look great at 9,100. Darius Garland, fast-paced game, no defense really for Atlanta. Darius Garland just 6,800 looks good. Anthony Simons, Ben Simmons, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis, Jalen Suggs. Nobody else in double digits for me currently.
Okay, very good. TJ, your thoughts there at point?
Yeah, a lot of similar plays, and I literally like the Scottie Pippen Jr. call. LaMelo Ball is projecting for not as much ownership on FanDuel as he is on DraftKings, and so I think I like him on FanDuel a little bit extra. James Harden is the best play on the slate, probably at any position. Norman Powell still out for the Clippers. Kawhi obviously still gone. He's probably going to, as long as this game stays somewhat close, he's probably going to be putting up an absolute ton of points today. Kyrie Irving, much better play on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings at 9,100. I do like spending up at this position, at least to the mid-tier. Malik Monk is somebody I love, but I'd rather play him at shooting guard. Same with Kevin Porter. I'd rather play him at shooting guard. Probably don't play him and Harden together, but I'd want to play at least one of them. And then Jaden Ivey at 7,100, Jared McCain at 6,900. Two guys I like quite a bit as well for tournaments.
TJ, shooting guard, please.
All right, shooting guard position. Yeah, a lot of more of these guys that have shooting guard and point guard eligibility. I'd probably rather play them at shooting guard than point guard because I do like the position a little bit better. Another one that is great for tournaments that I didn't mention is Donovan Mitchell today. I think he looks like a really strong play, probably going to get sub 10% ownership. Brandon Miller is fine, but he's looking like he's going to pick up a decent amount. I love Malik Monk at 5-1. Like I said, I'd rather play him here. I think Malik Beasley is another good pivot at a similar price point. And that about does it for my favorite plays there.
Neil, you got a few more names you want to add into the mix there at shooting guard?
Oh, one guy I forgot to mention is I think Podziemski for Golden State is very interesting because I forgot to mention this. It's not on the DraftKings slate, but FanDuel is even more games than DraftKings is, and we have Steph Curry out for Golden State. We got Utah missing guys like Lauri Markkanen. And so that slate has a few extra games and a little bit more value as well.
Nice. Okay. Neil, a few more names for me?
Yeah, first of all, James Harden, that's funny. I had just literally given him a projections boost when TJ said best play on the slate. I agree. James Harden looks great here. Great matchup with Washington. At shooting guard, Podziemski, Buddy Hield also. Kyrie Irving, Desmond Bane, Kevin Porter, Keon Ellis, Mikal Bridges, Jared McCain, Brandon Miller, Tyrese Halliburton. This is just like yesterday, getting pretty deep here. Tyrese Halliburton, Jaden Ivey, Malik Monk, Anthony Simons. I'm pretty spread out currently at shooting guard. I'm just trying to scroll and see if there's. I'm going to boost Donovan Mitchell. He's somebody that I wrote up. I don't know. There's a big spread here, but I think just the defense for Atlanta is bad enough that I want to make sure that I force in some Donovan Mitchell when he's going to be pretty contrarian. And of course, I always have to get to some Ant, so I'm going to be boosting Ant a bit as well.
You know, I kind of thought this would be the case, and we did get a projection update for New Orleans. Nobody actually projects all that well because they have so many bodies and they've been priced up. Brandon Boston is, not even projecting for 5x. Alfred Payton is actually the guy that looks the best on this team, which fair enough. He's been putting up incredible numbers since he's been there. I'll probably get myself a little bit of Alfred Payton here, even though he's probably not going to start now that DeJounte's back.
I will just add to that. Like, I agree. I noticed the same thing. Like, nobody really standing out. But McCollum to me is going to be somebody that I'm going to force into my lineups now at shooting guard. Also, before we move off of guards, I think McCollum is somebody that I'm going to want to get to a bit.
Okay. Very good. What are your thoughts at small forward, Neil?
Let's see. Small forward. Getting to a lot of Bryce Sensabaugh at 3,800 looks like a pretty strong value. Could play big minutes. Podziemski, Tobias Harris, Franz Wagner, and Harris is apparently a game time decision, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. Desmond Bane, Solon, Brandon Miller, Mikal Bridges, Scotty Barnes, Dorian Finney-Smith, LeBron James. I boosted Anthony Edwards to get a bit there. And I think that might do it for me at small forward.
Okay. TJ?
Franz Wagner, really like here. He is going to be chalky, but I do like him. Tobias Harris is a guy that even if he plays, and Roth, your mic is kind of sounding a little robot-y, but didn't matter because it was just a quick transition. Franz Wagner at 97 I like, but Harris is the other guy that's chalky, and I don't like him. Even if he plays, I don't think we want to play Tobias Harris. I think that's some chalk that we want to avoid. I love Bobby's call from the last show. Scotty Barnes, I think, is an incredible play. He's back from injury, playing full minutes and playing very, very well. I think because he's priced down and started the year hurt, and the Raptors are so bad. But for what it's worth, the Raptors have been a fun tank this year because they actually play pretty fun, good basketball, and they got good young players, and they just lose games because they're young and don't have very much depth as opposed to purposely tanking. And so they've been kind of a fun tank this year. Score a lot of points, give up a lot of points kind of thing. And so Scotty Barnes, 8,800, I think people forget how good he actually is just because he hasn't been around to begin the year. And so I think he's a great play at single-digit ownership today. Najee Marshall at 56 is, I think, a cash game type option and really strong for tournaments as well with all the guys missing for Dallas. And I like the Sensabaugh call from Neil as well. I also don't think it's crazy to play like 1%. This is a guy that has shown massive ceilings before, and they kind of come randomly. But Philadelphia is missing a lot of guys, and he's been kind of just okay. I think Kelly Oubre is an interesting guy to take a shot on.
Okay. Yeah. Any thoughts at power forward? And do I still sound like a robot?
Yes, and it's kind of funny because what it sounds like is that you're just like in fast forward when you speak, and so it delays you for a half second, and then it speeds everything up really quick, and so you sound pretty cool. John Collins at 7,500 is another guy that is going to be chalky and is still listed as questionable. So he's played 32 minutes in 3 straight games. Lauri Markkanen is out now. If he plays, he's looking like a good play, but at one of the highest projected owned at the slate and the Q tag, I don't actually think he's going to come as highly owned as we're projecting because it's so much later in the day. It's not like Tobias Harris one that we should get word on him any minute. And do we just get John Collins as of 3 minutes ago, now listed as doubtful? Jamal Cain just got ruled out for New Orleans. And so with John Collins being listed as doubtful, that does open up even more for Utah. And I think it makes Bryce Sensabaugh somebody you want to absolutely be playing in cash now. I think it makes Johnny Juzang also at small forward somebody you want to be playing. I probably am setting a rule at this point, if I were playing on FanDuel, that I would play Sensabaugh or Juzang, one of them in every single lineup because of the lack of value on the slate. And they're now both projecting like the 2 best with Utah going to be missing Collins and Markkanen. So I think you can play both together at the small forward position. I know we're on power forward now, but just kind of pivoting back with the Collins news. I think you can play both Sensabaugh and Juzang together at small forward, but I think I'd probably want to get one of them in every lineup that I was playing on FanDuel. Other options at power forward, though, Avdia you can play here at power forward. He's projecting for an absolute ton of ownership on FanDuel, and he's more expensive than he is on DK. So Avdia Harris, that's 2 pieces of chalk on FanDuel. I think I'd want to go underweight on. And to be honest, I think Draymond as well. Draymond's not a guy that I haven't looked at the numbers for this season, but over the course of his career, Draymond is not a guy that has gotten a lot better with Steph Curry. What's Steph Curry's absence going to do better than Draymond? Is he going to create more usage for himself, create more shots? No. He wants to kick it out to Steph and get assists. So it's historically hurt Draymond being without Steph. So I don't like this ownership for him either. He hasn't had a game over 40 FanDuel points since the beginning of the month. I think this is bad chalk for Draymond. Almost the whole position other than Harris, I kind of view as bad chalk until it gets down to PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Scotty Barnes. Those guys down here, I think, are way better plays than the higher ownership plays up top. And then if you are getting to guys like Juzang and Sensabaugh at the small forward position, then I think a great contrarian option today is leave out all these chalky mid-range guys on FanDuel, play Victor Wembanyama, play Anthony Davis. These guys are playing against each other. Play LeBron James at the power forward position. You can play Domantas Sabonis. You can play Jalen Johnson. Those 5 players I just named, Roth, combined for less than 10% ownership between the 5 of them. Not each of them are less than 5% owned, between the 5 of them. So I think you avoid these chalk plays and just get and spend up in tournaments.
Neil, what are your thoughts on
power forward?
Yeah, we call it now.
I can barely understand.
I got
Roth
the
is saying,
transitions.
but
I got the transitions. If you want to bow out, Roth, take an early Thanksgiving. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. I can handle it for this one, or maybe just see if we bounce out and bounce back in.
Just stay here for the beauty, because people just want to
audio.
see that face, and TJ can take over the talking parts.
Yeah, the aesthetic. Who do you like at power forward, Neil?
Yeah, I'm getting to a lot of Anthony Davis. I am still getting to a good amount of Tobias Harris. I get what you're saying, though. Maybe I want to lower that a bit, even if he does play. Franz Wagner, I'm getting to a good amount still. Great matchup with Chicago. He's so expensive that I'm inclined to try to get away from some of the ownership, but I guess I'm currently a little bit under the field there. Scotty Barnes, I like that call out. I boosted him a little bit to get to some more Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, Draymond Green, PJ Washington, Salon, LeBron, Dorian Finney-Smith, and that is it currently for me at power forwards in double digits. Just trying to see if there's anybody else that I'm missing here that I want to force in. I called out Jonathan Isaac earlier. I think I missed that when we were talking about. Let me see if I can. What position? See, he's small forward and power forward. But he's 5,000 on FanDuel. I think he's fine at 5,000. I prefer him on DraftKings, but just because such a great matchup for Jonathan Isaac, should be a fast pace. You know, he gets the stocks, so kind of benefits from that faster pace and has minutes volatility. So I don't think he's the worst play on FanDuel, but I think he's a better play on DraftKings.
We did just get that Grimes is starting for Dallas, and so that makes his minutes probably for sure. And I think that is what we were projecting, but that makes his minutes the most secure, I think, between the Hardys, the Grimeses, and the Dinwiddies. I think I trust Grimeses more than any of these other guys here. Take me to the center position.
Yeah, at center, 1 second. Pretty spread out at center. Anthony Davis, my highest exposed. Andre Drummond, Isaiah Hartenstein, Miles Turner, Draymond Green, Ben Simmons. I'm getting some Joker, Naz Reid, nobody else in double digits. How about you?
Roth, how we doing?
I don't know. How's it
He's
sound?
back.
Much
Let's
better.
go, baby. We're back. We're back. All right. TJ, what are you doing at the center position?
Yeah, so I think a lot of really strong options over here on FanDuel. Nikola Jokic, Wembanyama, Davis, Towns, Şengün. Like, there's the whole top of power forward and center today is just like 1% owned, 2% owned, 1% owned, 2% owned. Jokic will be like 10, 12, 13-ish, but the rest of these guys, anybody else up top is going really low owned. Ivica Zubac is one of my favorite options today. I think I probably like him as a cash option and a tournament option. He's going to play a ton of minutes. There's lots of usage to go around for the Clippers, and they play Washington. So Zubac's probably my favorite guy there, who I'd want to play in cash or single entry. This kind of seems crazy, but I don't think it's wild to play Jonas Valanciunas at $5,600 today in that same game. He's a guy that's probably only going to play 14 to 16 minutes, but hey, against Zubac, maybe they give him some extra if he gets 22 at that price tag. JV is back to his old ways of smashing on a point per minute basis this season, where he wasn't last season. He's back now. And so I think he's interesting at that price tag. $5,400 Drummond, I think, is a strong play as well. I would want to go basically Drummond or JV is my cheap shots, getting crazy options. Zubac is my favorite overall option, and then spending up to Towns or above as my next thing to do in tournaments.
Okay, boys, we want to kick it over to DK. We have about 18 minutes left in the show, but first, we got to do some promo reads. Our Thanksgiving table, it's set. It's got a little bit of something for everybody here. This week only, we're letting you pick the discount. We have a smorgasbord, a cornucopia of options here. Deals on all active sports, including $40 off your first month of Combo Pro and 50% off the NBA annual package. A jam-packed sports schedule this week. It is the perfect time to get premium access, so make sure you are signing up and picking your promo. Let's talk TK. TJ, you get to lead us off in that department with a little point guard talk.
Just got my newest set of lineups in. I got James Harden at 56%. He's my highest owned play today. Scottie Pippen and Malik Monk. Monk more at shooting guard, but he does have that point guard eligibility, are my next two highest guys at the FanDuel point guard position. After that is when things get a little ugly for me. I was hoping my next three owned guys were going to be Jaden Ivey, Scotty Barnes, and LaMelo Ball. But because of the lack of value on DraftKings today, those fall behind Kevin Porter Jr., Elfrid Payton, and Delano Banton for me. I don't feel great about that, but we need to get the value somewhere. Those guys outside of Payton are more so played at the shooting guard position. I love Ball Barnes as spend-ups. I love Ivy in the mid-tier. That's it for, and then Jared McCain, I think, is very good too. Kyrie Irving, I think, is fine. That's not it for who I'm playing, but I think that's it for the good plays. Now I'm running 150 lineups today. I have a couple lineups with Marcus Sasser for Detroit without Cunningham. I have a couple with Talen Horton-Tucker for the Bulls. I have a couple with Reggie Jackson. And then I'm playing some Maxey and some Halliburton as well. Guys that nobody else is playing just because nobody else is playing them.
Okay, that makes sense. Neil, your thoughts at point?
Yeah, point guard. Currently, I am getting to Kevin Porter Jr. He's just 4,200 on a slate that's lacking great value. He's getting a good amount of ownership. So I don't know how much I want to lean into it, but currently he's my highest exposed. Kyrie Irving, Chris Dunn, James Harden, getting to more of him on DraftKings without trying to force it. Desmond Bane, LaMelo Ball, Scottie Pippen, CJ McCollum. Again, I boosted him to, like, I had to force him in, even with the other players out. He doesn't project extremely well point per dollar, but I like the matchup with Toronto, and I like the upside with no Ingram there. Elfrid Payton, Tyrese Halliburton, Scotty Barnes, nobody else in double digits for me.
Okay. How about shooting guard?
Shooting guard, getting to my highest exposed is Brandon Miller. I think I'm going to come off that a bit. Kyrie Irving, Chris Dunn, Stephon Castle, Malik Beasley, CJ McCollum, Tim Hardaway, Jared McCain, Malik Monk. Nobody else in double digits here.
Okay. TJ?
Just for some clarification, somebody in the chat asked, isn't Jared McCain out? No, Jared McCain is not out. That is Jamal Cain that is out. So
That's important.
Two different guys there.
Yep.
Shooting guard, Malik Monk is my highest owned here. I love Amen Thompson for tournaments. That's my second highest owned guy. Thompson and Eason are two of my favorite tournament plays on the slate. I always love these guys, but Houston is coming on a back-to-back where they just had to travel across the country. Maybe this, or not across country. I don't even know where they're coming from, but they had to travel on a back-to-back. And so I like the Amen Thompson and Tari Eason a lot more than their starters today. Stephon Castle, Malik Beasley, Delano Banton, Ricky Council is a value play. I'm getting to a little Quentin Grimes, little Champagny. And then I really like Jaden Ivey. I just wish I was getting to a little more of him. I have about 18%.
Okay. Take me to small forward, TJ.
Denny Avdia and Franz Wagner, my highest owned, but then the two I talked about. So I got the two chalky guys up top with Franz Wagner and Avdia. Then my next two highest are Tari Eason and Amen Thompson. So going way off the board with those two. Najee Marshall, I really like at 5,400. Malik Beasley, and then Scotty, like Council, Grimes, cheap options we talked about. I have a little bit of Matas Buzelis for Cleveland, for the Bulls. Cheap option that nobody's playing today. A little bit of Harrison Barnes because he's randomly going on a tear where he thinks he's good again. And then I mentioned Kelly Oubre as well as a super low owned tournament play nobody's getting to. And Scotty Barnes. Love Scotty Barnes.
Okay. Neil, your thoughts there at small forward, please.
Yeah, small forward. Well, first of all, I want to mention, I forgot I had to boost Donovan Mitchell, got to get into a bit more Donovan Mitchell at shooting guard now, but also, so still Brandon Miller, again, probably going to come off this a bit. Salon, Desmond Bain, Najee Marshall, Franz Wagner, Josh Hart, Denny Avdia, Tim Hardaway, Malik Beasley, nobody else in double digits for me at small forward.
Okay, then you get to bring me to power forward. What are you doing there?
Yep. Again, Salon, Diabate, Jonathan Isaac. Again, I forced in a bit of Jonathan Isaac, PJ Washington, Najee Marshall, Jabari Smith, Tobias Harris, Franz Wagner, Josh Hart, Pascal Siakam, and currently not getting to anybody else in double digits at power forward. I don't think I'm going to force anybody else in there.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts there at the old PF?
Franz Wagner, my highest owned guy here, but this is my most spread out position of them all. I think I don't have any. He's 25%. I don't have anyone more. Tari Eason comes in at number 2. That's my biggest stand today is the Eason and Thompson thing. We're currently projecting like 1 to 2% ownership for those two, and I'm playing 25% of each of them. Najee Marshall, Jabari Smith on that same Houston team I like today. I did make a rule though, max 1 Eason, Amen, and Smith, but I'm getting like almost one of those 3 in every lineup that I play. Jonathan Isaac, I think, is fine. Yabusele, I think, is decent with all the weird stuff that Philadelphia is doing, the guys they have missing. But that's about it. Like I said, very spread out. I am like, there's a few guys I only have 8% of, but then looking at the projected ownership, I guess that's going to be way overweight on. Like Jaren Jackson Jr. I have him in 11 of my 150 lineups, but that's going to be overweight. Same with Jalen Johnson. Chris Boucher and Santi Aldama are both projecting for less than 1% ownership, but they're in my pool because, again, I don't think we have a lot of value. And I think even though they don't project well, their ceilings are high.
Yeah. Okay. That brings us to the center spot. TJ, what are you doing there on DK?
Zubats and Drummond are my 2 highest owned guys, 30% a piece. I wish I had a little less Drummond, but the value isn't very great. And even if he doesn't play big minutes, even if it's like 24, he could still smash in this spot at 5K. Anthony Davis, I'm getting to 18% of, and Wembanyama 13%. So very, very overweight on those two, both projecting for sub 2% ownership on this slate. Jonas Valanciunas and Yves Misi are 2 low minute, high point per minute guys that I'm getting to. Misi's been playing more minutes lately. We're projecting him for 27 today, which is more than he had been as of like a week or 2 ago. So I don't hate taking shots on him for tournaments, but he is picking up a little bit more ownership with this New Orleans Pelicans guys missing. So I don't love the idea of getting Messi at high ownership.
Okay, Neil.
Yep. So I'm getting to Andre Drummond the most. Diabate. Mo Bamba is actually the Clippers center that I'm getting to the most of currently. Just a strong value, and if he does see some upside in minutes, he could obviously do really well against the Wizards. Jabari Smith, Jonathan Isaac again, Miles Turner, Anthony Davis, Zubats, Yves Missy. I forced in a little bit of Jeremiah Robinson Earl just because the rotation is kind of open there for the Pelicans, missing some pieces. He's just 5,100, so I'm trying to get to a little bit of Robinson Earl, LeBron. And then I'm not getting to much yet, but I am boosting Alperen Şengün, just trying to get to a bit more there. The upside is obviously there. And then I have to mention, because Roth is on the show, Jared Allen, not really getting to it yet. I'm debating whether I want to get to some Jared Allen, but as of right now, don't have any.
Okay, good.
You know what I love the idea of doing? I hadn't even considered Mo Bamba until I just looked at his projection, went, oh, that's actually not bad. Looked at his game log, went, oh, that's actually decent if he gets enough minutes. And it is Washington. So 1, the minutes is good, but 2, it's a 10-point spread. So this could turn into a blowout. Now he won't get it big minutes in a blowout anyways, but it does secure 20 as opposed to, maybe less than that. I love the idea of, say I was doing a 3-entry max, having one of them that pairs Harden and Zubats together, one of them that pairs Kevin Porter Jr. and Mo Bamba together. I think that's a really good contrarian tournament pairing that would correlate well together with Porter and Bamba together.
Good stuff. I like it. Guys, we have about 9 or so minutes here. Generally, I start in the Discord, but as I had to steal my wife's computer for the show since mine blew up, I don't have Discord. So I'm going to be taking questions from the YouTube. That's my bad to my Discord fam. If you're watching on YouTube, hit us with the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the subscribe as well.
Let's post them in private chat.
Oh, okay. That'd be great. Let's see what we got here. Scrolling up just a little bit. Our guy Butthole Jenkins says, TJ, is Jabari Smith Jr. low-key smashing?
He has been low-key smashing lately, and he's been a pretty streaky player. Maybe we want to jump on it while he's having a good stretch, but never mind. I actually can't put it in the private. Steve's going to do it for me. Perfect. And so Jabari Smith, Amen Thompson, Tari Eason. I love all 3 of them for tournaments, and yeah, I do think he's going to low-key smash.
Okay. My guy Billy Magliani says, Neil, can we play Missy at center on FanDuel in a 3-entry max?
Missy at center on FanDuel. All right, let's see what's the price tag on FanDuel. 5,700. You can. Not probably where I would go in a 3-entry max, but I think it's playable against Toronto. I think it's a good enough matchup that I think it's, I would consider it.
Okay. Shout out to producer Steve. He's grabbing the questions from the Discord now, putting them in the private chat. So I am taking your questions from the Discord. We'll start with this one. DKGPP. Neil, this is a large field tournament at forward on DK, 5,800 or less. Who is your favorite player in that range?
5,800 or less. All right, let's see. Tari Eason is up there. Jeremiah Robinson Earl, somebody I would consider. Probably Tari Eason.
Yeah, we know TJ approves of that call. Speaking of TJ, this one's for you. DK, GPP, and Cash. Why is Banton popping in the HQ so much?
Because Jeremy Grant is missing, and he's a guy that can play point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward. He's an incredible point per minute guy that doesn't get much minutes. And so with Grant being missing, with a couple other guys being down there, he should probably squeak out 20 to 22 minutes today. And he's a great point per minute guy.
Okay, great answer.
He's
Another one
for Portland's Tari Eason.
Yeah, okay. Another one for you here, TJ. Best value play for New Orleans in a FanDuel GPP?
Probably Messi, I think, but let me check. Yeah, I would go Messi at 5,700.
Okay. Let's see what else we got. Your favorite low-owned stud or studs? I will let you both answer this. Neil, you can go first. Your favorite low-owned stud or studs, FanDuel GPP.
FanDuel. All right, give me 1 second. Moving over to FanDuel. So we're talking about like high-priced studs.
That'd be for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite for a large field GPP, low owned. I mean, yeah, it's probably Wemby for me, but let me just see if anybody else stands out. Yeah, I think really low owned Wemby. Yeah, I think that's just the answer.
Low owned Scotty Barnes, really low owned Wemby.
Okay. Good stuff, guys. TJ, do you like playing Sensabaugh and Juzang together on FanDuel? And if so, is Sexton and George with them too much?
Sexton and George with them would be too much, yes. But I don't mind playing Juzang and Sensabaugh together at all.
Okay. Neil, any SAR? This is from Bugsy777777. Any SAR?
On which site?
He didn't specify, actually.
I am not currently getting to any SAR. I think that he is playable. I as of right now, let's see.
I have 8% on DraftKings.
I have 3% on DraftKings currently. Yeah, I think he's very much in play. Like he's basically a 5x kind of value with some upside, I think. So yeah, I think I'm getting to a bit.
Little sprinkle of SAR. All right. Swolf, this S Wolf says, Neil, who is the one player that will be in the winning single entry lineup on DK? No pressure.
No pressure. The one player who will be in the winning single entry lineup. I think I'd probably go with Drummond. He's only center eligible, which is the one drawback there is there's obviously some opportunity cost there. But yeah, I think probably Drummond would be my guess.
Okay. TJ, got a question for you here from the YouTube. What do you think of Keontae George in a FanDuel GPP?
I do not like him.
Okay. Easy enough. FanDuel single entry, TJ, Zubac or Turner? I feel like Zubac was your boy a little bit.
Yeah, I would go Zubac there for sure. Going back to the Keontae George thing, admittedly, I didn't realize that Jordan Clarkson wasn't going to be playing today. So yes, George and Sexton both individually are fine. I would not play them together.
Okay. Let's see. In a single entry, Andrew Martinez says, Neil, you like AD or Wemby? Did not specify a site. I don't know. We like them both, right?
Yeah, I'll go Wemby. He's lower owned, so if I have to choose one, I'll go Wemby. But both look good.
Neil, Keith is going to make you work for this one, by the way. We're about 3 minutes until lock. Make sure you hit that thumbs up for us. FanDuel single entry, Neil, 7,600 or less. It can either be point or shooting guard. 7,600 or less FanDuel, point or shooting guard.
7,600 or less. All right, let's see. McCall. So I would like to take a shot in a large field GPP. For me, I really like McCollum as just like, kind of dart throw play. He doesn't project extremely well, but if you're looking for somebody low owned, it would probably be McCollum. Otherwise,
Ivy, maybe.
Ivy's a good call. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. TJ, a couple for you here. We've got Brian in the chat says DK GPP, a 3v3, Franz, Vooch, and Zubac versus Wemby Davis. I don't know why there's a 3v2, but it is a 3v2. Franz, Vooch, Zubac, or Wemby Davis. That's the question, man. You want 3 dudes or 2 dudes?
Who just straight up scores more points between those two or the other 3?
I think he messed up the question. We'll give him another shot. Maybe I'll scroll down. DK Cash, TJ, Drummond or Diabate?
Drummond.
Is Buddy Hield in play on FanDuel, TJ?
Absolutely.
Is Missy viable, Neil? DK small field GPP?
Viable, yes. Not a preference, not a priority for me, but definitely viable.
Okay. Mike says Ivy and Turner. Neil, is for you. Ivy and Turner or Black Cat GPP?
Well, that's close. Probably Ivy Turner.
Okay. TJ, Eddie says, any news that we're backloading for? That's always a good question. Is there something that we're worried about breaking that we don't want to get too much exposure early?
I think the biggest thing would just be for FanDuel more than DraftKings. On DraftKings, I don't really think we're waiting for anything on DraftKings. And on FanDuel, we are waiting for the Golden State Warriors and Utah Jazz starting lineups. Both of those are very important. We're not necessarily waiting on specific questionable who's in, who's out news, but who starts in those games will be very important.
Okay. Good answer. TJ, for you here, your boy Amen Thompson or Monk straight up?
Monk.
Eric says, what are your thoughts on Maxey, Neil, on DK? Maxey.
Maxi on DK. We're waiting on Tobias Harris news, right? So I think that's the one. I'm just scrolling the injury report, and I'm like, oh, that's
Yes, Tobias. That. Oh yeah, doesn't that game start in a minute?
I don't think.
Oh
so.
no, that's a 7. That's an 8 p.m. game. That's why we're still waiting on. So yeah, we are waiting on Tobias Harris. Absolutely. That's
Maxi looks totally playable. Yeah, I like Maxi just fine. Not a great matchup, but yeah, I think he's projects well enough point per dollar. I currently don't have any, but I think he's viable.
Okay. We are less than a minute until lock. Shout out to Hammer, who says thank you to Steve and happy Thanksgiving to the gang. Paul says happy Thanksgiving to all. Great show. And with that, we did get a question. Hang on. Shane says Banton or Black. Neil, Banton or Black?
Probably Banton for me.
Okay. Very good. We are seconds until lock. So a happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday, whether you celebrate or if you're just hanging out in Canada, watching a little extra football. Make it a great day. We're going to bounce on out of here. So for Neil, for TJ, for our wonderful production, I'm trying to stall. There it is. We hit lock. For our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will not catch you tomorrow.
We will. We will catch you tomorrow for NFL tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern time with myself, Will, the Chief, and Tasteful Tides, Tim.
Well done. Way to close it out. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.